I'd like to thank you for joining me today in my presentation on quality of character. And what we're going to be talking about today is focus. So what does focus really mean? Well, it's the center of interest or activity, and it's paying particular attention to a certain activity, whether it be in your schoolwork or whether it be in any athletic activity that you're participating in. So why is focus really important? Well, without a good focus, you're never going to be effective in any of your work. Every time you sit down and do something, if you're not having proper focus, you're going to be bouncing from one thing to another thing, and you're never going to be able to sit down and finish that one task at hand that you have. So having that good focus allows for you to be able to problem solve and make good decisions as well. It keeps you motivated as well. When you have that great focus, you have all your attention to detail in one certain thing, and that's going to motivate you to complete that task at hand. So there's 5 basic elements of focus, with the first one being the ability to direct attention to a relevant object, thought, or feeling. The second one, a present tense orientation of here or now focus. The ability to deflect or ignore distractions, irrelevant thoughts, and the ability to refocus on the relevant cues when distracted, and the ability to fix or narrow attention. So there's the 3 R's of focus, and what those 3 R's, they're applied to help athletes stay focused on the present moment. So in a particular athletic event, with these 3 R's, this allows you from not to go off and with one event happening, going and thinking down the road to the next event that's going to happen. This allows you to keep focus on what you can control and what is happening in the present moment. So that first step is to recognize when you're off task on that certain action. And then following recognizing that, you have to regroup and train and rethink your train of thought and prepare yourself to refocus on the task at hand that you are doing at the present moment. And then that goes into refocusing back to the intention on your task at hand. So how can you stay focused? Well, you need to focus on yourself, focus on your task, and focus on what is relevant right now in your case. So say in a particular football game, if you're a corner and you're on defense and you get burnt and you get beat for a touchdown, well, that your focus needs to be to fix what you did wrong and to move on to the next play. It can't be, well, because I just gave up that touchdown, we lost the game. You need to refocus, figure out what you need to do to change that and get back into the present tense and not worry about in the future. And that all ties in with bad focus. When you start to focus bad, you need to rethink of what now. You can't focus on the future. You need to worry about what is happening right now. When you yourself or your team has good focus, this allows for you to be more mentally tough. In every situation of a game, you're going to have ups and downs, and if you stay focused on the task at hand, this allows you to not have those ups and downs or negative plays that might be happening affect your gameplay. This allows you to keep moving forward on that task at hand. Along with that, it helps you reach goals. Your negativity is gone, and that just staying focused helps you overall become a better athlete. So one thing that I put into this PowerPoint that I believe is very beneficial when you consider focus on a team aspect and focusing in just an athletic world today is what I've learned this from Brian Kite, who is a leadership speaker. He goes to many different. He works with Fortune 500 companies. Works with Ohio State and Urban Meyer, and he's kind of all over the place with athletics and in businesses. And I believe that his theory of E plus R equals O is a great tool to add to any culture on focus for your athletic team. So just to kind of quote Brian right here is the most complex variable in your world is not the circumstances you encounter or the results you're trying to produce. the most complex variable is the behavior of people in response to those situations. So what does E plus R equal O mean? E, an event. You can't control any events, and in everyone's life, we're going to have certain events that happen to us. And in a game or in life, an event is going to happen to you. So then the R, which is what he considers the R factor, which is your response. How are you going to respond to that event? Are you going to respond good, or are you going to respond bad? So having that good focus allows for you to have that good response to that event. And with all that equaling O, which is your outcome, this is something we have zero control over. It all comes down to the R factor, the response. How are we going to respond to every event that happens in our life? That's always going to control the outcome. And in sports and in life, we're always going to have events, and we're always going to have outcomes. We always want a certain event to happen, and we always want a certain outcome to happen. But it all comes down to the R factor, and how are we going to choose our response that's going to make our outcome. So having that good focus allows us to have the good responses in anything that happens. So just to kind of give a point, an example here. So in a football game, we might get, on an offense, might get a holding penalty. Or on defense, we might get a false start penalty. Or we might throw an interception. Or we might fumble the ball. Well, how are we going to respond to that? And are we going to put our heads down? Or are we going to say, well, we just fumbled the ball, we're going to lose the football game? Or are we going to refocus ourselves, regroup, and say, you know what, that's said and done with. Now all we need to do is worry about the next play. We need to move on. The next play. That one outcome does not, or the one event does not change the outcome of the game. It's how we respond to those events that's going to change the outcome. So just to kind of finish off here on focus, just a couple of quotes. This is by Homer Rice, is persistence creates a winning attitude. This means that you know what you want, believe you can get it, work with all you have to achieve it, and refuse to give up any under odds. And I think this is great when it comes to focus, is that we all have something we want to achieve, and we're never going to give up no matter what happens. And it all goes back to that focus. How we're going to have factors that happen to us. We're going to have factors that affect us. And it all comes down to refocusing, regrouping, and re-energizing and getting back into that focused state of knowing what we need to do to keep moving forward and achieving our goal or our outcome. Here's another one. You can't stop at every barking dog, or you'll never get the mail delivered. And that it kind of goes in the same thing. You can't stop at every bad outcome. You can't stop at every bad event, or you're never going to get your mail. If you stop at every bad event, you're never going to get your outcome. So I think it's always important to go back to those 3 R's of refocusing, regrouping, and refocusing. If you focus on results, you will never change. If you focus on change, you will get results. And then to end it,